20-year-old Filipino tennis star Alex Eala has sent Melbourne Park crowds into an absolute frenzy.
She's got a lot of global stardom to her. She's had some incredible results and she's beaten players like Madison Keys and Iga Swiatek, so she's the real deal already.
After 2 early exits and a drop in the rankings, the buzz around Alexa has suddenly gone quiet, and that's usually when things get interesting. Now she's heading into Madrid, where the clay courts play quicker, the crowds are louder, and underdogs have a way of stealing the spotlight overnight. So why are Spanish fans already hyped about her arrival? And what are they seeing that everyone else might be overlooking?
With the same mentality as every match, same mentality as today, she's a big player. So I have to be ready for what she's gonna bring out and trust that I will prepare well.
Yeah, but you haven't, you've beaten her before, so that's really gonna help boost your confidence na kahit defending champion siya dito, world number 2 na, kaya mo mag-repeat, di ba? Pero every game na is different.
Yeah, I would say every game is different. And just because I beat her last time, it's not like, oh.
The clay in Madrid doesn't care about your ranking, your highlight reels, or your last viral moment. And that's exactly why this next chapter feels different for Alex Eala. This isn't just another stop on the tour calendar. And it's more than a simple comeback chance after a frustrating stretch. Because the second she steps onto those courts in Spain, she's stepping into something much bigger and louder than just a tennis match.
Oh, it was a long flight, but you're here now, excited about the games?
Oh, excited naman, syempre. Ang haba ng biyahe walang Spain, but I'm so excited to be here. Excited din ako makasama yung team, ang bait-bait ng mga tao dito. At syempre, masaya kapag kasama sila. So, sobrang excited.
Of course, I'm sure you're very happy with the year that you've had, buong 2025. And now, you get to top it off with competing in the SEA Games. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I missed a lot.
She steps into a wave of expectation and curiosity, facing a crowd that's already convinced something special is about to happen. Spain has always had a complicated relationship with rising stars who aren't their own, because the fans there don't give respect easily, but when they recognize authenticity, grit, and a fearless rhythm, something shifts. They embrace you, they lean in, and suddenly every rally feels like a shared performance. And for a player like Eala, who feeds off energy and momentum, that kind of atmosphere can either overwhelm her or unlock something truly dangerous.
So Alex lost the first set, but she came back in the second. And then down 4-0 on the third set, but still managed to win the game. That is grit. That's not quitting, even when it's uncomfortable. Watching that match reminded me that, there's always a break coming. And sometimes you just have to be patient long enough to see it. And while everyone was cheering for Alex, I also felt for Sasnovich. Because everyone has a story and everyone is fighting for something. And she was just...
Right now, the storyline around her seems simple on the surface, but underneath it carries a tension that makes everything far more compelling. She's coming off back-to-back early exits, and the numbers don't soften the reality. A first-round loss in Stuttgart to Leylah Fernandez in straight sets, followed by a second-round exit in Linz against Jelena Ostapenko. 2 tournaments, 2 quick exits, and suddenly the momentum that once felt unstoppable starts to look fragile. But this is where everything quietly shifts, because Madrid is not Stuttgart, and it's definitely not Linz. Madrid is chaos wrapped in elegance. It's high altitude, faster clay, unpredictable bounces, and crowds that react like every match is a final, even in the opening round. It's the kind of stage where a player either fades out fast or becomes a storyline no one saw coming. Last year, she gave Spain a glimpse of what she could become. She made matches uncomfortable, stretched rallies longer than expected, and even in defeat, there was something unsettling about how close it all felt at times. The scoreboard said loss, but the impression told a different story, and that memory matters now more than ever because this time she doesn't arrive as an unknown. She comes in ranked inside the top 50, even after slipping from her career high of 29 down to 45. And that shift changes everything. It changes how opponents prepare for her, how crowds respond, and how pressure builds. She's no longer the surprise underdog. Now she's the player expected to prove her rise wasn't temporary, and Madrid isn't offering any easy path. Unlike some of the top seeds who glide into the second round with a bye, she starts from the very beginning, the round of 128, where the tournament feels less like a showcase and more like survival. Every match is a test, every opponent is dangerous, and every slow start becomes a risk she can't afford. And the field itself reads like a warning sign, with Aryna Sabalenka entering as the defending champion and world number 1, bringing a level of power that can end rallies in seconds.
So I remember attending the first round of her match, which was a tough match at the US Open, and then I went back home, and then I was contemplating coming back, and I wanted to witness her win because I think she has such an amazing head on her shoulders and the game, and I think she has a voice and a platform that's going to, transcend the sport. And as we know now, sport is not just tennis, it's fashion, it's art, it's culture, it's having a platform, and I think she does brilliantly of merging all.
Elena Rybakina stands as a relentless force, with a serve capable of flipping an entire match in moments, while Coco Gauff continues evolving into a player who thrives under pressure, and Iga Świątek remains the gold standard of clay court dominance. Add names like Jessica Pegula and Mira Andreeva, and suddenly the draw doesn't feel like a bracket, it feels like a maze. So where exactly does Eala fit into all this chaos? That's the question fans are quietly asking, and the reaction coming out of Spain only makes it more intriguing. Instead of brushing her off as just another mid-ranked player searching for form, there's a growing sense of curiosity surrounding her presence. Spanish fans, raised on clay court mastery, are picking up on something in her game. They see the patience in her rallies, her willingness to build points instead of rushing them, and a mental toughness that doesn't crack when exchanges stretch longer than expected. Social media has been quietly buzzing too, with clips from her previous Madrid run resurfacing and fans pointing out how close she came to pushing elite players. The journey hasn't been smooth, especially for someone still adjusting to the grind of consistent, top-level competition. The dip in ranking points, the fall from 29 to 45, and the pressure to back up past success all collided at once, turning every match into something heavier than just a result. It wasn't only about winning anymore, it was about proving those earlier highs were real and sustainable. Now Madrid offers something unique, a reset disguised as a challenge. It strips away the comfort of rankings and forces a return to fundamentals, demanding patience, adaptability, and mental composure when rallies refuse to end quickly. And interestingly enough, those are the exact qualities that fueled Eala's rise in the first place.
Just talk us through the whole thought process when you found out that you were representing the country in a whole nother way. Ito talagang literal bit-bit mo yung bandila ng Pilipinas.
I mean, it's not something that really crossed my mind. Siyempre, pag naisip ko yung SEA Games, siyempre, puro tennis yung nasa isip ko. So, it's just so nice to have these kind of experiences off the court. And siyempre, SEA Games is more than just tennis. It's more than sports. It's kind of building that community and that pride for the country that I think so many feel.
There's also a subtle strategic layer working in her favor. If her run in Madrid doesn't reach the second week, she's already entered the Catalonia Open, a WTA 125 event that offers valuable match play and a chance to rebuild rhythm. That backup plan isn't about doubt, it's about awareness, making sure her clay season keeps moving no matter what happens in Madrid. And even that draw isn't easy, with names like Jessica Buzas Monero, Eva Lees, and Laura Siegemund bringing their own level of challenge. Still, everything keeps circling back to Madrid, because that's where the spotlight hits hardest, where the crowd decides who they want to emotionally invest in, and where one unexpected win can flip the entire narrative. If she gets through that first round, the story won't be about recent losses or ranking drops anymore. It will be about whether she can reconnect with the version of herself that once pushed the best players in the world on this very surface. It will come down to whether Madrid's energy lifts her game or pulls it apart. And most importantly, whether this moment turns into another early exit or the start of a comeback no one saw coming, but suddenly, everyone in Spain can't stop talking about. In Madrid, the line between disappointment and breakthrough is thinner than it looks, and sometimes all it takes is one match, one crowd, and one shift in momentum to turn a quiet entry into something unforgettable. Right now, Eala is standing exactly on that line, with Spain watching closely, waiting to see which way it goes. And as this moment unfolds, it starts to feel like Madrid isn't just about recovery, it's about revelation. Tournaments like this have a way of exposing where a player truly stands mentally, not just physically. The rallies last longer, the pressure lingers heavier, and every decision carries weight that rankings and past results can't hide. On faster courts, the margin for error disappears quickly and matches can slip away in a rush. But on clay, the game breathes differently. Players who absorb pressure instead of forcing winners often take control gradually, even before the scoreboard fully reflects it.
I know you were mostly supporting Alex, but I have to say it is great to be on a crowded court. I played this tournament for many years, and to see the stadium full, it means a lot. And like to thank Alex for bringing a new demographic to the sport. I really appreciate I think it's great. I know sometimes it's tough when you're playing against a home crowd, but I think that it's great for the sport. So keep being enthusiastic and keep rooting for your player.
That's exactly the kind of rhythm Eala has shown she can handle, especially when she's mentally locked in. The issue in recent tournaments hasn't been a lack of ability, it's been a lack of continuity, where small lapses quickly turned into costly breaks that opponents were ready to exploit. Madrid, though, offers a different script, where momentum can swing several times within a single set, and resilience becomes just as important as precision. And then there's the crowd, which could quietly become one of the most influential factors in her entire run. Spanish fans don't just watch tennis, they feel it, reacting to every rally with an intensity that can either lift a player or expose hesitation, especially when they sense effort, creativity, and a willingness to battle through tough points. At the same time, the challenge is undeniably real, because the Madrid Open doesn't ease anyone into form. The early rounds are packed with opponents either chasing ranking points or fighting to protect their position, which means every match carries urgency from the very first point. There are no soft openings or gradual warm-ups, just immediate pressure to deliver. Names like Leylah Fernandez and Jelena Ostapenko still hover in the background of her recent results, not as reminders of failure, but as proof of the level she's consistently facing. Losing to players of that caliber doesn't signal a collapse. It highlights how razor-thin the margins have become, where just a few points can decide everything. And that perspective is what makes this next stretch so compelling, because it shifts the narrative from decline to adjustment. She's not rebuilding from the ground up, she's refining, tightening the small gaps that have recently cost her matches, and working to turn her existing strengths into more consistent results.
Filipino player Alex Eala was greeted by hundreds of Filipino fans during her practice session out the back of Melbourne Park this morning. Eala is number 49 in the world, and she's really captivated the hearts and minds of the Filipino community here in Melbourne after she became the first Filipino player to win a Grand Slam match at the US Open in 2025. It's fair to say that most players would have found that scene a little confronting given the number of people who swarmed her for autographs and photos after her practice session, but she took it really well. She stopped to say hi to the fans, and then
And if Madrid has proven anything over the years, it's that consistency can suddenly click when the conditions align with a player's natural instincts. There's also a quiet narrative forming around how international players are embraced in Spain when they bring the right qualities. It's not about nationality, it's about attitude, about visible commitment to every point, and the refusal to fade when matches get uncomfortable. Those are the moments when the crowd shifts from neutral observers to fully invested supporters, and once that switch happens, it becomes incredibly hard for opponents to ignore. Eala is right on the edge of that possibility, where one gritty performance can completely reshape how she's viewed throughout the tournament. It's not about dominating from the very first serve, but about showing enough resilience early to pull the crowd into her matches, because once they're engaged, the atmosphere starts to tilt in subtle ways that can influence momentum. Looking ahead, her schedule suggests this isn't just a one-off opportunity, but part of a larger clay court campaign where each match feeds into a bigger rhythm. As she moves deeper into the event, the focus quietly shifts from results to response, from what's already happened to how she reacts next. Every service game becomes a chance to regain control, every return game an opportunity to apply pressure, and every extended rally a test of whether she can outlast her opponents both physically and mentally. And if Madrid has shown anything, it's that complicated paths often lead to the most unexpected breakthroughs, especially for players willing to embrace the chaos instead of fighting it. Right now, Eala doesn't need perfection, she needs connection with her game, with the surface, and maybe most importantly, with a crowd that's already leaning in, waiting for her to give them a reason to believe something special is about to happen.